Hi everyone, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Marisa, and today we're just going to talk a little bit about picky eating because that was kind of a hot topic on one of our first videos.
Yeah, and I have the best subject for that right here because he is the pickiest eater, and Marisa has given me a lot of helpful tips, both for me and for him, just to kind of enjoy feeding a little bit more and make it a little less frustrating.
And not so stressful. I feel like that's, and I mentioned this before, but one of the biggest tips I have is try to decrease stress around meal times, okay? And also, a big thing I also will tell parents to do is try to take away the TV or tablets as a distraction method, or even specific toys, and try to make the food, the meal time, the fun time, okay? So for example, Adam was kind of funny, and he wants these puffs that he's eating right now.
In the green cup.
He really wanted specifically in the green cup. So when I notice that with parents and I hear that a kid is kind of rigid in that way, one thing I would recommend that you can try at home is have them participate in at least changing the container with which they eat. And in a way to do that is not just offering them a new container, but have him help. So for example, pouring the puffs out into a different cup, or maybe he takes them with this cup and helps to pour them into the other cup. And that way he's taking part in it, and so you can actually have him try to do that and then see if it would actually introduce a different cup for him.
I have not tried that yet.
But another thing too that I would often tell parents to do is you want to also expose them to food in terms of textures. You want them to touch different things, not be scared of touching them. So for example,
I think everyone just, an instinct though, is first thing you do is you try to put it in their mouth.
yeah, that's so true.
So the first thing you go to is the mouth, but we forget the other senses. We have those other senses. We have touch, we have smell, we have...
Yeah, and a big thing I also tell parents to think about too is I'm also guilty of basically, cramming a little bit of food in my son's mouth because I'm like convinced if he tries it, he might like it.
Yep.
And I think that's almost like okay to do occasionally, but the biggest thing you don't want to do is always feel like you're forcing your kid to eat, because forcing causes an aversion or causes them not to like the food, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So I don't know if you ever experienced that with Adam, but I think a lot of parents, and I'll have a lot of parents come to me and say they gag a lot during meal times, and inevitably it always seems to be when the parent's forcing food in their mouth. So even if your child has, I always tell people the first phase of swallowing is actually bringing food to your mouth. Because if you think about it, when you start bringing a spoon or food to your mouth, you actually start salivating, and it kind of activates those salivary glands, which helps with swallowing.
And that's been really helpful for me because, I've had so many things like broccoli and peaches, which we were going to demonstrate for a little bit, but just so many healthy foods that he will not even approach. So it's been a long process, but we're working our way towards the mouth, and and he's finally been touching a few things to his tongue and making a silly game, and Marisa some other good things.
And you want to make it fun, basically. You don't want to make it something that is a scary thing for them to try. So I wanted to show you guys, for example, Adam here does not like peaches, right, Bubby? So you want a peach? Let's see. So here's an example. If he doesn't not like peaches, he's probably not going to be a huge fan of me doing this. You want a peach, Bubba's?
He's just turning his head away.
No? You want a bite? Boop. Boop. Ah, look at that. Did you just try the peach? That got really lucky.
Yeah.
It's not normally that
lucky.
Boop. No. No? Can I have a bite? Can I have a bite? Can you feed me?
Auntie eat.
Can you feed me? Give me a bite. Watch.
Want to give it to
Can I
Auntie?
have a bite?
Can I have some too?
You give it to Mama? Give it to Sissy?
It's a sissy. Good eating, sissy. It's falling out of my mouth.
Did Adam try?
Yay!
We got so lucky.
That was very lucky.
Do you like the peach?
She's a miracle worker.
I'm a miracle. Guys, I'm amazing. You want the last of it? Okay, I'm feeding Lucy now. That's a great example of making it fun, right? You're not saying eat the peach, or I've had a lot of parents who say
I swear he didn't like peaches.
so funny.
If you
like a liar. If you say if you eat the peach, then you get to watch TV. If you eat this, then da-da. So I encourage you guys instead to make it fun. Don't make it a scary thing. Even if they just touch it, even if he didn't take a bite, touches it to his lips. Yay! That's so exciting,
everything a huge success. A huge.
If he's even willing to take it out of my hand and feed it to somebody else, that's a win, you guys, because they're exploring it, they're touching it, and that's a huge win, because a lot of kids, when they don't like a food, they don't even want to touch it. So you want to encourage that exploration. Think about that as sensory play. I have a lot of parents also where kids are picky because they don't want their kid to be messy, but you want to let them get messy with a fork, with a spoon, with their hands. That's going to be the way that it's encouraging them to explore different foods. Just other things to think about too is, as a parent, I encourage you to eat a lot with your kid. I talked about this last time, but you want to sit in front of them and show them how to use a spoon, how to use a fork, and you actually want to sit in front of them and eat with them. So I always tell my parents when I'm working with them in feeding therapy that you're gonna have to eat a lot too. Yeah. Right. And I've had some parents be like, "I'm a picky eater." Yeah. I don't want to like shame you if you're a picky eater. That's totally fine, but just learn that if you're gonna ask your kid to eat something, you're gonna have to demonstrate how to eat it. That's how they learn to do anything, right?
Yeah, and my biggest thing too, I think Marisa mentioned, was just having him around the foods a lot. So like, for example, I'll get like a bag of broccoli and I'll steam the whole thing, and we're gonna have it for dinner every single night. And each night I might get a little closer to putting it in his mouth or doing something. So it's really nice to have that. And I can't just expose him to broccoli one night and he doesn't do it, I fail, and I don't bring it back again. So I've been trying to do it like every single day. I put a piece of broccoli near him. He now allows me to have broccoli on his plate, which is a huge accomplishment.
And that being said, I also tell parents you shouldn't have to prepare a lot of separate foods for your kids just to try to expose them to things. Just like a lot of us eat dinner after our kids go down, save some of whatever you eat and just put it on their tray in front of them the next day, just to keep exposing them to different things.
Yeah, and let them play with it, let them do whatever.
Let them play with it, you sit and eat with it, you show them how you ate it, tell them, make yummy noises. If they don't want to touch it, fine.
But I was going to say too, with my behavioral therapy background, another thing is to bring like a utensil, like, you know, a fork, a spoon. One of your forks is like special, or a spoon, like to make it more fun to play with the food, you know. And or I bring out like a colorful cup and I show him to put the broccoli in the cup just to get practice touching it and all that fun stuff.
And then the last thought, if you have an older kid that's a little bit picky, just start talking about the food, right? So what color is the peach? What does it taste like? Is it juicy? Listen to it when I make a bite, and what does it sound like, right? So you can make it fun like that too, and just make it more, again, that makes the mealtime fun. It makes the food the focal point versus trying to distract and just get them to eat.
Yeah, it's a much more fun experience. So
okay, so those are just some hot tips, and we'll probably have more videos on that to come.
Yeah, let us know if those tips work for you, if you have any other things that have worked well for you, and put them in the comments below. Subscribe, and you know, feel free to look us up on Facebook and Instagram, Talk to the Hand Mamas, and
and if you have anything else, that's it for now. All right, you guys, thank you.
Talk to the hand.